First of all, the good old days is when almost everybody had a landline.
Correct.
In terms of getting emergency assistance. And yet I will start off, I just watched a movie on television where a person, life was at stake, a gun was pointed at this person, and the person was so traumatized that when the call was made to 911, he couldn't tell the call receiver, the 911 person, what his address was. He knew it,
It doesn't.
but he was just totally traumatized, and so it's not as if everyone had a landline that were guaranteed access and location with a 911 service. So landline have those problems, but and I'll ask you to provide the data for Stark County. Is what percentage of homes in Stark County, to the best of your knowledge, are landlines?
The best that we can tell, that I can give you, Martin, is a percentage of what we receive phone calls from. They correlate pretty closely to what's out there in the community, but it won't be a perfect number. But so far this year, 13% of our phone calls to 911 have come from wireline, from traditional hardline phones. 7% from voice over internet protocol type phones, such as Time Warner cable or maybe Maslin cable, Magic Jack or UMA type devices, and then 80%, 80% are from wireless phones.
Okay, so
that's the makeup of where our phone calls are coming from.
Do wireless phones present the most difficulty in terms of pinpointing location?
No, actually the VoIP do. The wireless are the largest volume, but the VoIP are causes a lot of problems because you're like your Magic Jacks that you can purchase at a pharmacy or wherever. There's no location data with them, and they can carry them in your pocket and plug them into any computer. You could plug it in at the library. You could plug it in at a friend's home. We never know where that device is at, and it doesn't provide any location data.
So in that instance, then, we're back to the landline days where, sir, madam, what is your address?
No, actually on a landline, that's the misconception. Landlines, we almost, not 100%, but probably 95% plus of landlines, we got a hardline address for. There were always people moving. There was always inaccuracy.
I'm just going back to my example. It used to be that way. Am I not correct? That you, or has landlines always had location data?
Landlines have had good location data. Okay. It was wireless phones that didn't. So 10 years ago, or 8 years ago, when we started talking, we basically got no information on wireless phones. We didn't know where a wireless caller was. We had to ask them, do you need police, fire, or medical? And what is your location? Those were the two key questions we tried to get answered when someone called us on a wireless phone. We still have to do that with some VoIP phones today and some wireless calls. What I can tell you where we stand today, in some of this that you asked me about, I'll let you go through your questions, but I'll throw it there. We can get location data on about 66% of the wireless calls that come in. That I can show you. We have reports that can prove that to us. It becomes really fuzzy after that. I've seen in the national article that you gave me, they reported anywhere between 10 and 95% of calls had location data. And I can see why there's such a wide spread on that number. Some of it's equipment, depending on where they're located in the country. Part of that is the phone carriers. But then there's also that, for us here, I can track what we get phase 2 information on. And then there's an assumption that everybody else gets phase 1.
Let me interrupt you. Yeah. Phase 2, I'm sure that most viewers don't know the difference between phase 2 and phase 1.
Yeah, you're correct. On a cell phone call, phase 1 data is the cell phone tower that their call is coming from. So their phone connects with the cell phone tower when they call 911, and we get the location of that cell phone tower along with their phone call, and that's phase 1 data. Phase 2 data is actually getting a location, or at least the best guess on their actual physical location of the phone handset. That is phase 2 data. So that's the difference in the two.
Thank you for clarifying.
Oh, sure.
Now, as you've referred already to how this center tries to collect data, in reading this article, I noticed that there is no federal program or policy on collecting data, and the question is, does Stark County and of course, being a political subdivision of the state of Ohio, does Ohio have a formal program or policy on collecting and reporting data on the location data?
Not yet. The state of Ohio currently has legislation in process and rulemaking in process to provide for several different types of reports, and that's one of the things that, in researching this for your call, we figured out some of the limitations of our reporting software. So we're actually going to be working with our vendor, which is Airbus Communications. We'll be working with them to have them hopefully develop some additional reporting capabilities. I believe our package, it's called Aurora, is the reporting package that we have with our product, is as new as you can buy right now, and there is some limitations to what we can extract from the phone calls that we receive. So with the state moving forward with some of that information that they want, we're starting to work with the company and spend some money to make sure we're able to provide the kind of reports the state says they want going forward. In the past, it's always just been statistics on types of calls, what devices they're coming from, things like that. That we've always been able to produce, but now they're going to be asking for these more detailed. That was a good description, Julia. More detailed reports, and we're finding out that our software. We're not sure if it's our software or if it's the way the calls are provided by AT&T, the data that's provided, which it is. We may have to go back to AT&T and say, hey, we need to collect more data on a phone call to be able to meet the requirements of these reports. That's what we're literally working on as we speak today, on trying to figure out what we can provide and what we need to get additional help to provide.
Now, historically, how has AT&T been to deal with?
Haven't you been to all the meetings with them?
I haven't been to the meetings, except there was one meeting. I think I did videotape where AT&T sent in a representative for the commissioners.
After one of the failures,
right.
Yes. On this type of stuff, their engineers and stuff, working with the companies on this level, it's been just fine. It's some of their, when you have outage issues and stuff like that, they're not the easiest to work with sometimes. But no, on this type of stuff, I don't think we'll have any issues.